Hi, Corey and Ahmed. This is Rich. I'm going to try to keep this fairly brief. I've tried to record it a couple times and it went well over 5 minutes, and I want to respect your time. I'm doing a study on kind of changing the culture in a school. That's the overall focus. It's going to be a little bit different than some of the other studies that maybe are done in this class, and I ran that by Dr. Scott. I'm really going to focus on a qualitative view of this because it's something that I want to expand upon in advanced qual during the next session, and ultimately probably is a study that I'd actually like to do going. So the focus of my school or of my study is a school called Kit Carson. It's in Sac City. I'm not going to worry about protecting anonymity just because we're going to keep this in class, so I'm not too worried about it. Kit Carson is a school that has built a very bad reputation within the community and within the district in terms of being a school of very low academic achievement, problems with gangs, problems with violence, other behavioral problems, and it's actually led to a decrease in enrollment from well over 700 to about 350 currently. Because of this, about 3 years ago, a redesign committee was formed, and the redesign committee came up with two ideas for what they were going to do. One, they were going to expand the school to becoming to go from being a 7-8 middle school to actually a 7 through 12 middle/high school. Currently, they have it all the way through ninth grade, and next year they'll be bringing in 10, and so on. And then the other major change was the idea that they want to become an international baccalaureate school. And if you're not familiar with that, it's a very rigorous program that's focused on reflective thinking, thinking outside the box, student-centered work, and ultimately getting kids into what's called the diploma program, which is very prestigious and can help you get into a lot of colleges. The problem is they changed all these things, but what teachers and what other people will tell you is that yes, a lot of things changed in name and an idea, but the culture of the school really hasn't changed, and so therefore they wanted to do something that would do that. So in this study, I would partner with 3 teachers. We would be designing a 2-day culture-focused curriculum that would happen at the beginning of the year, with the purpose of really changing the culture on campus. We'd focus on the process of creating the curriculum, training the staff, and then actually doing the impact it has. A lot of my lit review was focused on really the purpose of the study, which is changing culture. A lot of research shows that changing culture can be one of the biggest factors that impacts a school's ability to change. And it's really, when we say changing culture, one article really focused on saying that simply put, culture is when people say this is what we do here. So this is what we do at Kit Carson would be the culture, and then that actually plays out into action. I like this quote. It said, "Culture changing is the most important, difficult, and perilous job of school-based reformers." Here are my research questions, just really briefly, because once again, trying to save time. The top one just really focuses on does this actually work, and if we teach kids culture, does it change the culture on campus? The second one has to do with actually the teachers and what are the challenges and how do we actually change? Is it even possible to change long-held and deeply ingrained beliefs? And then the third one is what methods, when trying to do that, are actually the most impactful and should be used. I did incorporate social psychology and the learning from this. My 2 major focuses were on the need for personal relevance, that if teachers are going to change, they're going to need to really believe in it and believe that it's going to impact them and it's going to matter to them. And then social validation and really a lot of social capital and really just galvanizing a staff and creating an environment where the majority of people are on board and therefore everybody ultimately becomes on board at least to some level, and there's social pressure to move the work. I am using a model that maybe people wouldn't be familiar with. It's called the action inquiry model. Unless you've taken action research with Hallett, you probably haven't seen this. It's a model that's really built by a guy named St. John. It focuses on the fact that research should actually has social responsibility attached to it and should lead to an action. It should identify and test possible solution pathways. It needs to focus in on the local context and be responsive to that, and actually should be participatory. We shouldn't be, as researchers, completely involved in the research. There are 5 tasks of it. Really want to develop an understanding of the challenge, why it exists, search for different possible solutions, consider all the possible solutions, then from that develop an action plan that takes into account the local context, and then actually try that solution pathway, test it, evaluate it, And then a lot of times you're going to then do more research from what you. And so in ours, there's really three phases, or in mine, there's really three phases to how I'm going to do this. The team of three teachers will start with the process of developing the actual curriculum. One teacher will go to another school and learn from somebody else that has done a similar curriculum. They will then come back, do some preliminary planning to make it so it works for this school that we're working with. They will incorporate some feedback from teachers on campus to kind of bring in a co-creation model, and then we'll ultimately finish the curriculum themselves. All along the way, there will be interviews to where I'm interviewing them and grabbing qualitative data to the processes, the things that are working, what's getting teachers on board, what's not happening, where are the frustrations, and what can we learn from it. Then we'll actually implement a training for the actually entire school staff, in which they will learn how to do this. Once again, there will be interviews that do this. And finally is the implementation. It will be a 2-day process where the program is implemented. Teachers will be journaling what goes well and what doesn't. We will then interview at the end and compare what the three teachers in my team thought compared to what the journals of the teachers thought. And then we'll follow up with interviews throughout the next 6 months to see how the implementation is going at school. Hopefully this will ultimately provide information that can be replicated later in other schools and can be very powerful in terms of research project. Thank you, gentlemen, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your summer.